Thank you. What an afternoon.
Stay hydrated, everyone. Yeah, what an afternoon. Insert shenanigans.
We had to move the Blue Ute, to move the Glant, to move the Cruiser, to get the Bedford in.
Yeah.
Insert where it ended up right here.
I said no, Bo.
I thought you said go!
That's that's quite the predicament. You're gonna have to Dukes of Hazzard that one.
The first time. I said no, bro.
Why do we never film the real stupid shit? It's stuck over the pig's tail.
Oh, fuck. How did we do that?
I got a fair bounce up the driveway.
And welcome back to your standard viewing. It's Backyardbuilds once again.
Hey, if that had happened, like a cow mounting another cow, that would have made a H-set Overlander. That had to come off. You'll understand what we mean when we insert the footage. But this week, bit of an update on the wagon.
Yeah.
So last time you guys seen the wagon was late last year.
It was here.
It was here. I think it was motor going in, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah, it would have been motor and gearbox going in.
Yep.
Front end going back in.
So that's all back in now, and getting there. So we've gone through and we've done a lot of work over Christmas that we haven't filmed.
And the new year. And the January period is now February, as we all know.
Yeah, so we've been working on it behind the scenes, but it's not stuff that we felt required an episode. Things like wiring. There is so much wiring in this car.
And we are going to cover some of the wiring more with the sedan when we get to it. So there was no point in...
Yeah, this car's not even EFI, and there's 7 relays in it. Yeah.
Yeah. But what else have we covered? So let's just run through a quick list. Accelerator cable, alternator, headlights, mirrors, column, dash, battery mounts, rear windows. Why have you got rear windows twice?
Because we did the rear window and the rear windows.
Oh. Yes, alright. Plus there was rubbers, there's alternator mounts, there's tail shaft, there's
so
many items we've actually ticked off that big list.
Huge thanks to Ultra 9. Really quick turnaround on a tail shaft. I ordered it 2 weeks ago and it turned up this week and it fits perfectly. So ended up going with a 3.5 inch chromoly, 1350s on each end of it.
Big boys.
Big boy stuff.
Which will take all the power he ever needs and more if he ever goes for it.
If we go for more power, we've built the car to take more.
Yes.
It might just get more cam. We'll see how we go.
Yes.
That headliner's in, which you may have seen.
Yes, yeah, there's footage on the headliner. Obviously, you can see the front screen is in.
Rear windows are in as well. Huge thanks to Rubber Seals Australia. The rear rubbers are pretty well obsolete. The profile is obsolete. He gets it made in very small batch and then makes rubbers to suit.
And they fit.
When I rang, he had 10 people in front of me and he rang me back a week later and said, your rubbers are ready to go. Where am I sending them? The glass guy was extremely happy and impressed with how they fitted.
Yeah. And they did fit straight in.
And they've got a modified Tirana locking strip.
Yeah, so originally they would have just been, it was like an S channel I think we worked out.
Yeah.
So they would have just pushed in and that was it. But now they've actually got a locking strip.
Oh no, they originally had a locking strip.
Did they have a locking strip?
Yeah.
Okay.
But to fit the profile, to be able to get the locking strip that suits now, it has to be a modified Tirana.
But it all fits. They're sealed. They're in. We're never going to touch them ever again.
No. The door rubbers are done. Bailey channel rubbers are done. Except the rear windows.
Except for the rear windows.
Yep.
Which I've just got to do because the kit that we ordered
didn't come with the rear windows for some reason. And they weren't on the invoice. So they did supply what they said, so it was all good. My fault for not checking.
Doesn't matter. It was pretty much an off-the-shelf item from our local foam and rubber place.
Yep.
I've just got to cut the little 45 in the corner, cut the small one.
You might do a video on how to do it.
I might do that because I actually fitted them without removing the glass.
Yep.
Which wasn't the easiest task, but it was actually a lot easier than people think, and it's definitely doable.
It's a small feat. Wiring's probably at 90% now.
Mm-hmm.
Batteries here as well. It's a pretty cool unit. We might cover that in a bit more depth.
Yeah, before we put it in finally.
Before we put it in finally. It's what they call a Mega Life. So it's a lithium.
Yep, it's a lithium battery.
It's a lithium battery. So it's 3.6 kilos and 1200 cold cranking amps.
It's like this big. It's tiny. It's tiny, and you can mount it any
Direction, and it doesn't need to be vented. So it's in the glove box.
Behind the glove box.
Behind the glove box, because
Might actually still have
because
a
of the
glove
size
box.
of the glove box, I'll still be able to have like a 250mm deep glove box, which would be cool.
So we're going to put the CDs. No, 8 tracks.
8 tracks.
Tapes if anyone's got some.
I've actually put a retro sound in the car,
Yeah, it's actually got a radio.
but
You won't be able to hear it.
it probably won't be connected before Chrysler's on the Murray. Like, we're mid-February now.
And
Radiator should be
we've
here
got,
this week.
Like,
I would need it.
technically we've got 4 weeks, but we've got 3 weekends.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Zach's away 2 weeks.
yeah. And 1 weekend.
Oh.
I put him on leave for me the other day.
You can tell me.
I did.
Oh. Did you?
Yeah. Down the coast.
Oh, yeah. Hot
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to push. It's going to be at Chrysler's on the Murray in some form or another. It may be registered. It might not be, but
It may be running, it might not be.
I'll be home the week before. We'll have it there. Come and meet us. You can come and have a chat to us. We'll have stickers and stuff, and
On the stickers.
we have new stickers available, and they're
What?
back in stock.
But our OGs are back in stock. These are actually a little bit smaller. These are a 4-inch over a...
4-inch over a 5, yeah. Or over a 6, I think they were
They're
originally.
smaller. They actually fit in an envelope now, so we have no issues sending them out.
Yeah,
And
Australia,
they have to fold them.
Australia Post got a bit hoity about sending big envelopes on one sticker.
The OG Ute stickers.
Grill.
OG Backyardbuilds grill stickers. And we now have
XY. HK.
same style. That's our style. Big thanks to Tim
Barnett.
Barnett. I was going to say Barnett
Barney's Autocraft.
for doing these up for us. He has actually done all our stickers. He does our thumbnails every week.
And a huge thanks to Rad Stickers
who printed all
down
these.
in Warrnambool, who do an awesome quality sticker for us.
We will have plenty of these with us at Chrysler on the Murray.
Which means we'll be doing sticker packs again too. So
We'll start code words another time.
start code words not this week, but
Um,
and they will be available on our website when this
you'll be able to
video
buy
comes
them
out,
as individuals, or it's just one big unit.
or as
Yes.
packs.
Packs with everything. You'll get one of everything.
We're also working on new shirts again too, with those designs on them.
Yes.
So
We're in the process of
working out
sorting
what's
that
best.
out. More to come on that. We probably won't have the shirts ready by Chrysler on the Murray,
No.
but we will have whatever leftover stock we had from last year.
Yeah.
So
No,
yeah,
no,
we're still
no.
wearing our work shirts.
Yeah.
We'll have the standard,
There's only hoodies left in those two. There's no shirts left.
not any small, medium, no shirt.
Not that I could find the other day.
Okay.
I could
We've
only
got,
find hoodies.
we've got whatever stock hoodies we've got left. It's a first come, first serve. We don't know what sizes are there. We'll try and accommodate, but
We'll probably do a discount on
it's
them too.
probably going to be in the larger sizes, I think.
So what else have we done on the Wagon? Accelerator cable, so we ended up using a brand new cable. So it's a 3-foot
Aeroflow
Aeroflow.
with an Aeroflow return bracket.
Yep, mounted to the original pedal. So it worked out reasonably well, but we've just got to extend it slightly to
Yeah,
get a bit
maybe
more throw out of
Put
it.
a little bit more kick back on the top of the pedal because
Yeah.
it can't quite get the full throttle yet. But
Yeah.
that's a minor thing. He doesn't really need full throttle to run it in.
Saxon did a great job on that alternator bracket. He actually had a look around at what he had
Yes.
laying around bracket wise, and then made everything around that to suit.
And we've
Headlights are all wired in.
just need to put globes in.
Just need globes on that.
There.
Dipper switch.
Factory mirrors are on. Well, factory option mirrors are on, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a factory option, so they're not an actual factory
It's a fixed mirror, or it's a fixed
housing with
yeah,
a removable mirror in it.
which is pretty cool.
They're quite a nice.
Zach really likes them. No, they're not for sale. If you see the prices on the column,
It's because we haven't rubbed it off yet with acetone.
the column is in. The column was a much bigger job and required so many more pieces than we originally planned.
Yeah.
It wasn't just the column that was the issue. We actually made. It's got a remote oil filter mount in it, which mounts on the side of the passenger side rail. So before we even decided to put the column in, I had to make up those lines to go over there.
Which meant this whole side of the car come back off again. So all the suspension out, torsion bar, lower control arm, upper control, just
Knuckle, like
all of it was gone,
everything on
steering
that
links
side,
out.
torsion bar off.
So
I did that multiple times.
a word to the wise: if you're running a dust cover on your transmission,
Make sure it's on.
Put it on when you put the transmission on.
That was the other thing. I actually had to make that because the factory one with the pressings didn't actually fit.
Yep. If you are running remote oil lines,
Do that stuff before
it goes in.
it goes in.
Because yeah, it's steering box.
Even leave
everything
the
out.
lines long so you can play with them later. But word to the wise again, if you're doing a remote like this has got a 90 at the top and a 150 on the bottom,
Yep.
the 90 has to point towards the tunnel and then it can turn down, and the 150 turns down and goes actually under the sub.
Yep.
So it was the only way to fit it.
I'll put some footage in here of sort of how it's routed. It's hard to film under there.
Yeah.
Car
And then
on the ground.
45s on the other end. But it all fits. It all
Yep.
works.
While we're on the column, we've also managed to retain full column shift.
Yes.
So it uses a B&M shifter bracket to mount to the box,
With a short throw arm on the gearbox.
which is a B&M short throw arm and a B&M cable. It's about a 4-foot cable in there.
Yes. It's also, it's a narrow diameter outer sheath.
Yeah, we had one that was real thick,
And
we
it was-
couldn't get it to bend.
It was, yeah, it just didn't like the bends. It was a bit too tight in spots.
One
I
was-
actually had another one.
One's a genuine B&M and one was an Aeroflow. The Aeroflow one's like a lot thicker in the
Yeah.
sheath. It's probably stronger for wear and stuff, but yeah, it wouldn't flex as much as the B&M
Yeah.
did.
And we've got it in there. Everything, those two oil lines and that shifter is all heat shielded because it's very close to the exhaust. It's very hot under there.
Like, to put an idea on how long that's actually taken, that took Tom the best part of 3.5 days to run 2 oil lines and a shifter cable.
Yeah.
Like, that's why we've gone back to 2 episodes, 1 episode every 2 weeks as opposed to 1 a week.
It's not worth covering.
It's 3.5 days to do that
To do
isn't
yeah.
a quality episode.
Yes. But
And
it
like-
is done.
The wiring's taken me the best part of 10 days.
Yeah, every time we've been working on the car, Zach's been on the wiring.
Yeah.
And I've been doing all the bits and pieces. Saxon's been helping out with a lot of the bits and pieces
Saxon's
too.
been doing a lot of the odd jobs.
But what
Which,
else?
cheers, Saxon.
And then the column went in. Yes, factory column shift. It's reverse pattern, full manualised.
Yep.
We're yet to actually check it. We actually need to. We're getting very close to doing a fluids check and then actually get it off the ground and do pretty much a systems check. Make sure there's no leaks. Make sure it gets all the gears, etc.
Yeah.
Before we even go to a dyno.
Yeah, so we've got about a 30-second window to start it, check fluids,
Get oil pressure.
and make sure it runs gears.
Yeah. That's gonna be a tight window. We could probably stretch it a little bit, but we won't.
Don't
we
want,
won't push it past a minute, honestly.
just because of the top ring in this car. It's got a chrome top ring in it.
Yes.
It's, yeah.
It might even end up being we do a fuel check, quickly do an oil prime system,
Yeah.
and put on dyno and hope for the best.
Yeah, well, we can circulate water coolant
Yeah.
because it's electric water pump. Car doesn't have to run. We can check fuel system because electric pump, car doesn't have to run. The only thing is you're going to have to get it up on full on the trans dipstick. And then once it starts on the dyno, we're going to have to top it up while it's running.
Yeah. And hope there's no leaks in that transcooler, which it shouldn't be. Everything looked pretty tight.
Massive thank you to PWR as well.
Yeah, that's a hell of a radiator you've got coming.
Yeah,
Transcooler looks amazing.
Transcool's PWR. Saxon did an awesome job mounting that up. I
Yeah.
wired it up today actually.
That is mounted. It's mounted under the passenger side of the front seat, so it'll get nice and toasty on my side. But There's a lot of sound down in there. There's also still an acoustic liner to put in, but we won't do that until carpet is in.
Chances are it probably won't have carpet Chrysler and Murray. It'll probably just have seat belts and the seats in it.
Yeah.
It will be pretty.
We're going to have a 95% finished car there.
Pretty basic, but I do want it there.
Yes. Dash.
Yep. Original dash.
All painted.
All painted. It's not painted to original spec. I don't know if it's more of a Regal spec that it was done to.
Guess what?
That's what it is.
Doesn't matter. He likes it. I think it looks good.
So I used Chrome Bright, and then we blacked out the fascia. So instead of it being all silver, it's got a blacked out fascia in it.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. I did see it on Facebook. Some guy had painted it, so
Yeah.
credit where credit's due, whoever you were. It looked good.
Just looking at the whiteboard here while we're doing this.
Battery mount, it's something we didn't touch on. So I did say it was mounted behind the glove box, but I've actually made a tray. So I welded those bosses off the firewall before we painted it, and it's got a tray that runs between the dash frame and those bulkheads. So on that is mounted my coil, my ignition box, 7 relays, another fuse box,
Battery.
and jump start terminals. Because the battery is remote mounted, I wanted to be able to get under there with a jump pack if I need to start it, so we can get under there with a jump pack and don't have to try and get up onto the battery itself.
Yep. Pretty much. Covers that one.
Covered rear windows and the rear window itself.
There's the alternator mount. Starter motor cables, one's done. It's got a pass through on the firewall.
Yep.
And it literally just goes from the battery to the post to the starter motor.
It's this far from the terminal, from the jump start terminal.
How many cold cranking amps does your battery have, Zachary?
It's 1200 is what's advertised, but the test sheet says 1335.
So if anyone thinks it's not going to be enough,
I've got a diesel motor that thing would start.
Yeah.
It takes 1400 to start it. That would pretty well roll it over.
Roll it over. Wipers are on. It's not really anything fancy there. Torque converter bolts we had a grief with.
2 different sizes.
There's actually 2 different sizes in Mopar. ARP make 3 different size torque converter bolts.
Yeah.
You ordered 3/8 or 7/16? It was the
that
smallest size.
3/8 and ended up being 7/16.
No, the biggest was half inch.
I ordered 7/16 and needed halves.
We actually got lucky because Zach ordered 2 sets of
Flex plate bolts.
flex plate bolts, which are exactly the same bolts.
Yep.
People will say they're not. They certainly are, and they've got Loctite on them, and they're all tight,
We spoke to ARP about that.
and they're all torqued to that too. Yes. So that was in. Make sure they're in before everything goes together and it goes in the car, because you can only put that flex plate in one rotation.
Yeah, if I ever have a problem with the transmission in this thing, it's pretty well whole front end out.
Oh, it's so much more than that. It is literally dismantled the whole car.
Yeah.
Um,
Might be for sale cheap if that happens.
The dust cover, I've already mentioned that. Tail shaft's in. So yeah, there's still a few things to do.
But everything under the car is pretty well buttoned up now.
Yeah, I did actually do a spanner check before we put it off our four-man hoist today. So everything is pretty much tight.
Reason for doing a spanner check while it was on these, it's on its own weight.
Yes.
So the way that the front torsion arms or lower control arms work, they're pinned through and the bush goes on. So if you have that a droop or you do up that bush, the minute you
Put weight
on it, it tears the bush out and the bush is no good.
And back to square one.
Yeah, pull it back apart again.
So we actually left everything loose for as long as we could,
Yeah, it's been loose since it left my house.
because we knew when it got here we were going to pull stuff in and out, in and out, in and out, and it went in and out, in and out, in and out.
Yeah.
In and out, in and out, in and out,
Multiple times.
and then in and out again.
Yeah, but now it's back in, so.
And everything's tight. So I actually had up on the stands, full spanner check. That included rear springs, the mounts for the rear springs, shocks.
Yeah, rear shocks are in it. The only thing left to
Everything.
do on the tank is put a breather hose in for the filler, but that's it.
Yeah,
That's it. Last thing underneath.
might just let it pour on the ground for now.
See how we go.
There is obviously stuff still to do. Um,
But most of it's topside now, so it's that accelerator cable to make sure we get full tilt out of it. The biggest one's mount that radiator.
It needs the inner guards put back in, but that's something we'll do. We actually have to do the front brake lines still. We still haven't done the hard lines for that. We worked out how to do them now finally.
Rears are done.
Rears are done, diff is done. We just need to do the hard lines from the master cylinder to the location where the flexible hose is. Zach's still going to get flexible hoses, I believe. Handbrake cables as well. We will sort out a handbrake cable at some stage.
Probably won't have one for Chrysler.
It definitely won't have one for Chrysler Murray. It's something we're going to have to get made because it is now they're forward like F100 9-inch.
Yeah, there are 11-inch F100 drums.
So they have a funny cable. Well, it's not a funny cable pull. It's basically on the spring.
Yeah, it's on the leaf.
It's on the leaf, so it's going to.
It's become a running joke that this car is now 20 pound of shit in a 5 pound bag.
Yeah.
Underneath is there's no space for anything else.
We solemnly suggest if you're going to do this, to watch all the videos on this car and seriously assess if you actually want to do this or just put like a Hemi 6 in it or keep the slant.
Like it.
Or just cut everything else out and start it all fresh.
A Gen 3 Hemi would be way worse than that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt.
There was no way a big block was going in here easily.
There was no hope on God's green earth that a big block was going to fit in there with an exhaust on it.
No.
She would have had the old side exit guard.
Alright.
Pretty much covers it. Like I said, there's a few minor things that'll be done after Chrysler on the Murray. Majority of it will be done. Whether it's running or not will yet to be determined. That'll be coming in future episodes, or I might just see it at Chrysler on the Murray and we might drive it in, or we might be there going, Fred it.
Yeah.
Might have no brakes as well. We won't see how we go.
You might see it take off from the lights of the Hume in.
I'll be on the trailer when it's doing it.
Do a flyby on the trailer. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out the last 2 episodes as well. I know a lot of you have been asking about where the Coup's up to and where Dan's Wagon is. So if you have missed those, jump back and
check them out. Probably won't cover those cars much more, honestly.
No.
We think they've personally run their course for us. You'll definitely see them around again.
Yeah.
They will be in videos. It's not like we're just like, we don't talk to Dan anymore.
Definitely still talk to
Definitely still talk to Dan. His trailer is out front of my house right now. Thank you, Dan.
And apart from that, once the wagon's done, there might be a break on my cars for a little bit, but
we'll be into the sedan. I have been slowly collecting parts for the sedan too. I have amassed a water pump, pulleys, just a lot of bits and pieces, still second-hand stuff, a couple of new bits and pieces. I just couldn't get second-hand pieces.
Yep.
So yes, we'll start working on the sedan again finally. I'm slowly getting my motivation back for that.
alright guys,
We will see you next time on
Backyard Builds.